Dozens of people were standing in line to say goodbye. The line was a mile long, wrapping around the building. Now that's a testament to the legacy that the congressman leaves behind. And earlier tonight, Lewis's fraternity brothers showed their appreciation for his service.
Our cause means on its way.
Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated honored Lewis with a special ceremony filled with music and prayers at the Capitol. Thanks for staying up late with us tonight, folks. I'm Ron Jones.
And I'm Faith Abube. It's pretty evident you can't sum up John Lewis's life in just a few words. He's touched so many people, everyone from all walks of life. 11 Alive is where Atlanta speaks. These are pictures from several people who paid tribute to the longtime congressman at the Capitol today. It's definitely a farewell fit for a hero. We have John Sherrick joining us live now from the state capitol. John, what an emotional day it's been, even as we prepare for Lewis's funeral tomorrow.
Very moving here at the state capitol. You know, the public viewing ended just after 10, leaving thousands of people unable to get inside. But how rare is this? How few are those that we've lost in our lifetimes who have been so widely and deeply respected, admired, emulated, and loved as Congressman Lewis. Throughout the afternoon and into the evening, entire families lined up waiting for their turns to get inside to the rotunda to view the casket and pay their respects. People speaking of meeting Lewis personally, even years ago, still remembering it as if it were yesterday. Parents bringing their children, saying how John Lewis's life and sacrifices won for them better futures.
All the contribution that he made. Again, I want my children to understand that, see purpose in that, so that in their lives they can also make a powerful contribution to help their fellow man.
I think that he represented love and grace and humanity. He was a giant, and we are going to miss him.
Thank you for all you've done on Bloody Sunday, and thank you for letting people in the future vote.
You know, just being an example for all of us, and his persistence in fighting for justice, such a champion.
We are told that the casket will now remain in the rotunda throughout the night, with members of Congressman Lewis's staff over the years staying there, standing vigil with the casket until 8 o'clock in the morning, when it's scheduled to leave here to go to Ebenezer Baptist Church for the funeral service.
Well, that long line is a testament to just how many people loved him. Thank you so much, John. Governor Brian Kemp and Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms also honored Lewis today. They spoke about what Lewis meant to Georgia and the rest of the nation.
His example taught us that we have nothing to lose and everything to gain by working together and loving one another.
Although the fight for liberty and equality continues, Congressman Lewis reminded us to be hopeful, to be optimistic, and to never lose a sense of hope.
Mayor Bottoms promised to push forward with Lewis's legacy continuing good trouble.